we're going to talk about why you should lease an entire property and not just lease out room by room. We often receive calls from folks who would like to lease out either a room in a house where they are currently living, or simply lease out a whole property room by room instead of leasing the whole house. And while it's true that typically the pieces are worth more than the whole put together in terms of collecting the amount of rent, there's a huge liability involved if you were to lease a property out on an individual room by room basis. The first thing to think about is your liability if one of the people that you lease to ends up stealing from or attacking one of the other residents. This is a true option of what could happen in a worst case scenario, and you can't control the actions of everyone who's living there, so it's way better to lease to one group instead of to lease out individual room by room. The other thing you want to think about is if you want to be involved in refereeing arguments about who's playing the TV too loud or who left their dirty dishes in the sink. Most of us were happy when our kids moved out, and we don't want to be parenting a bunch of people living together in a home. The other thing to think about in your neighborhood are parking concerns. In a normal house, if there's a two-car garage, say, and maybe two cars that could fit in the driveway, but if you're renting out room by room, you may have 6 or even 7 cars that would be coming to the house. You need to make sure that there would be room for those cars to be accommodated. The other concern is visitor rules. How do you manage people room by room, having friends come over or people come and stay overnight with them? This can become a huge problem for the other tenants. In general, when you weigh it out, the little bit of extra income that you would receive from renting room by room is not worth all the liability and risk that you take on when doing so. I know for our property management company, we won't handle room by room, so if you're looking for outside property management, you'd probably have difficulty finding someone to do that for you in that situation because of the liability issues. We're happy to talk to you about rental prices for the entire property and how renting the property as a whole could be of a benefit to you.